Have you hit a roadblock in your business? Is it not going as well as you would like it to go? Are you spending more than what you're bringing in, but you're not ready to give up yet? Well, that's great, because today we're going to talk about how to endure in today's environment. So without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome to another episode of the Create Biz podcast. I am your host, Caleb Becker, talking about what it's really like to navigate through the challenges of running an online business, how to get your work to serve you and your family without burnout, how to gain the freedom of a well-structured business and develop the daily habits that create this success. I want to tell a story of Ernest Shackleton, a European explorer from the early 1900s who set out to explore Antarctica, the most forbidden place on the planet Earth that people were racing to back in those days to explore. So he set out on a mission to get down to Antarctica and to traverse the entire continent. So he rounded up 20-some men and all the supplies, and he got funding so that he could start out on this journey. And the most important part of that journey was, of course, the ship. And the ship's name was the Endurance. That's what it was called. So the great day came. It's time to set off, head out, go to Antarctica. Well, as they were traveling south, they came across ice fields that were getting thicker and thicker. And eventually the ice ended up trapping the Endurance in the water. They couldn't go forward. They couldn't go back. They were stuck. So they ended up freezing in there solid, and they had to endure the whole entire winter stuck in that ice. And mind you, when they're that far south in the wintertime, the sun doesn't shine at all. So they were down there in the darkness, enduring for that winter, waiting for spring. When springtime came, they had high hopes, only to be disappointed when they realized that their ship was getting crushed by the ice as it was trying to break loose and move again. So it crushed the whole entire hull of the ship. Water started pouring in. They had little time to go and gather as much supplies off the ship as they could to get off the ship in time before it sunk down into the Atlantic Ocean. They're stuck on the ice with their dogs, their sleds, their supplies, long ways from land, and this is where they are. So they ended up traversing on that ice on foot. Well, one thing led to another, to where the ice ended up being not safe at all to travel on. Luckily for them, they had their lifeboats that they brought with them, and so they could actually put those into the water and navigate between these ice flows. And they were in the boats traveling through the ice days upon days. Very wearisome, very tiresome, and mind you, extremely cold. Well, these men eventually ended up coming to an island called Elephant Island, which is not even at Antarctica. They haven't even made it to Antarctica yet, and they come to a place called Elephant Island. And that is where they decided to set up camp. And again, this is an uninhabited island. There's no vegetation on it. It's always cold, always winter, and it's extremely windy, and that's where they decided to make their home. Well, this is back in the day when there's no cell phones. Nobody knows what happened to them. Nobody has any idea where these guys are. 2 years of this enduring one setback after another. So Ernest Shackleton, being the great leader that he is, knew there was only one way to survive this, and that was that he was going to have to make this journey on the water to the nearest location where there was humans living, which was the island of South Georgia, and he knew that that was his only hope. So they got their lifeboats together. They makeshift one into a ocean-going vessel with a sail on it, and I won't go into those details, but they made this up. And the reason why they did, because Ernest Shackleton knew that nobody's coming to rescue them. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody has any idea of what they're going through. No one knows if they're alive or if they're dead. No one knows. So he can't wait on anybody. So that's why he decided we better get ourselves a makeshift boat and so that we can go and get some help. He was able to get to South Georgia and be able to get some help, and so they can go and rescue those men. And out of this whole painful adventure, not one man lost his life. Ernest Shackleton and his journey has been such an inspiration to me, and it applies to business in so many ways that I just want to pull a little sliver of this out of this story and apply it to your business. The ship that went down was called the Endurance, but the men and their spirits, as they traversed through all the heartaches and the setbacks, they did not lose their endurance. They had their endurance. And it's a marvel that they could continue on that way. So if you've hit a roadblock, or you've got a setback, or if things aren't going as well as you would like it to go inside of your business, you're going to have to endure, okay? And you're going to have to realize that nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. These men were sitting there on Elephant Island. The wind would blow, I forget what the numbers it was, but it was 100 plus kilometers an hour would blow, and it would blow up, and sometimes it would blow their stuff down. They were there, and he knew, Ernest Shackleton and all the other men knew, this is a place of death. This is not a place of surviving in. So they knew that they couldn't live there. They were going to have to somehow get, and then the only way to get there was to travel in this ocean, a long journey to South Georgia. Now, that's where I want to put this story into you today. When you're sitting there and you're trying to endure the elements, and you're sitting there you're sitting there in Elephant Island, and you're trying to endure all the things that's going on, remember, no one's coming to rescue you. You're going to have to come up and build a strategy and a plan so that you can go ahead, find the success that will be able to keep every part of your business alive. Don't lose one life of inside your business. You've got a mission that you've set out for. You know that your business is there to serve others. You're trying to build a brand. Don't let that die because of these setbacks. No one's going to rescue you. You're going to have to do this on your own, but keep in mind that you will do it. You'll get there. You will get there. I want to encourage you today just to let you know that you will get there. You will be able to get that success. You will be able to bring your business to where it's going to work. So keep going on. If you get stuck along the way, just go ahead and see again of what your opportunities you have around you, and don't lose hope. Okay, that's it for today, my friend. I'll see you in the next one. So I got a question for you. How is it going inside of your business? What is the outlook for the next 6 months? Can you see light at the end of the tunnel? Or are you coming up against roadblock after roadblock after roadblock that seems like there's no end in sight? Well, I've got good news for you. Today, you're tuning in, you're listening in, and I appreciate you so much. And I know what it's like to be in your shoes because I am in your shoes. I am doing the same thing you're doing. Creating a business is not easy, and I'm right there with you, and I have this guide that I know will help you out. It's called the Fast Profitable Online Business Guide. It's straightforward, it's simple, and it covers the 3 building blocks of an online business. What should you be focusing on? What's going to make the biggest difference? How to position yourself? What kind of strategies should you be using? And it also has some of the most common mistakes that business owners make and how you can avoid them. Now, like I said, you've tuned in, you're listening in, I appreciate you so much, and I want you to grab that guide for free today. All you got to do is go down below this episode, there's a link, or you can go ahead and just go to ecreatebiz.com/guide. That's GUIDE. And you just simply grab your guide there. That's ecreatebiz.com/guide, GUIDE, or just click the link below this episode. You've got nothing to lose. It's there for you. Again, I appreciate you so much for tuning in and listening today.